So quick examples I'll give you. One guy said that he was on and off jobs for a long time, and a guy who I used to look up to in the earlier office that I used to work. And then I realized that he's quite upset. He's unable to sleep at night because of various reasons. One of the reasons is this whole discomfort with accepting. He loves to go out. He's quite a gregarious fellow. Traveling is one of the things that he loves most, but he's not been able to do it. And he's not putting the pressure on his family. So internally there is a clash, but he's unable to, sort it out. Then there was another friend who spoke to me who is doing well, but they've taken a 40% cut in salary and he's bored of doing what he's been doing for the last 25 years. He wants to actually start venturing out, do something new with his life, but he is unable to now. This is the wrong time to crack a subject like this where you are unsure of what you're doing. Then there are people I have been speaking to who are facing normal issues of life, everyday issues, but very, very depressing outlook of life suddenly. People who are unable to find confidence or get jobs. There are people out of jobs. All kinds of things are happening around me, including the first part that I mentioned. There are people passing away, so then their families are unable to deal with it. Now, in this kind of scenario, generally all these things happen in our life, like we spoke at the beginning of the podcast, but they are far and few between. So they are dispersed with some good things happening and something that you're. But I've been thinking in the last couple of days that these are our age group people, and they are facing a unique challenge of they've seen a better world, or what they thought was a better world. They are yet to spend another 20, 25 years at least, hopefully if things go well. What does it feel like to be in this age group where you still have dreams, you still want to achieve, you still want to go forward, contribute to the making of a better world at times, or any such. How does one view this happening? How do you view this? Do thoughts like these come into your mind? Have you faced certain sense of claustrophobia with uh, avenues being closed? Of general, we used to while our time in different ways. Some with work, somebody used to go out or meeting friends or stuff like that. Talk about random stuff. I think all the topics are more or less around this disease and what it has done to us. So, in that set, in that sense, how do you look at this disease, or what does it personally mean for you? How do you make your peace with the mental ups and downs that are happening all around us? Do they affect you at all?
Um, Look, it does affect me. I would be lying if I say if it doesn't. But then I also ask myself, what can I really do about it? And the answer is nothing really, right? I
Okay.
mean, I'll elaborate more on that, but I mean, I don't watch much of news or anything. I try and just pick up things. If I know I'm going to meet somebody, then I'll make sure I read the news because that can be a conversation starter or something like that. But particularly the last 6 to 7 months with COVID and everything, I don't really watch much of a news. I don't really keep myself updated as to what is happening because I feel if at all there is something I know, it will find a way out and I will figure out if I really need to know something. That is one thing. Uh, I think the thing that really frustrates and upsets me the most is the fact that I don't know when I'll see my parents who are in Bombay.
Hmm.
For me, that is the overriding part of COVID-19 for me. That's the one and single overriding fact of COVID for me. Uh, I mean, sometimes you just want to, be with people you love, people you care, people with whom you can just be yourself. I mean, something that I took so much for granted. Uh, I mean, uh, in 2019, I just decided I want to spend my birthday with my parents, which I'd never done in the last 21 years. And I just took a flight out on Thursday morning, showed up at their place completely unannounced. And I think that was the best thing I did. Now I don't know if I will ever be able to do something like that.
Hmm.
So for me, I think I have I think I have picked up I think I have picked up what is it that COVID has affected the most for me, and I choose to stick with that. And for me, that remains the fact that I don't know when I will see my parents and my sister.
Okay. So the question is, how do you make your peace with this discomfort?
I just call them as much as possible, do video calls, and tell myself that again the gratitude bit comes here very strongly, because my sister and they live together. So I just I thank myself a lot that my sister's with them and she takes care of them. You can't ask for anything more than that, can you, Bunty?
No, my question is a little more pointed towards your not being able to meet them. The discomfort,
Um,
not being able to be casual about something which was earlier open to you when you wanted.
yeah. There is a discomfort. I mean, I do have moments where I break down. If I'm in the car, I just start crying for no rhyme or reason. I go into a shell. I don't respond to people, or I don't reply to messages. I do get annoyed and irritated, but earlier the reactions would be different. But of late, I just shut down. I just don't say anything, because I feel if I feel this way, then there is something that very quickly comes up when I feel upset or annoyed or angry or helpless, powerless. I there's this thing that comes up saying, okay, all that thing is although sorry all that I feel is valid, but then the bigger thing is they are being taken care of, because I know other senior citizens in the family who are left by themselves.
Okay.
So I do call them, I break down. My parents, they just have to see my face and they know what would have happened. And we are a family that loves old Hindi retro music. So there are times my dad will just call and make me listen to a Muhammad Rafi's song. Or if I'm driving and I listen to something, I have tears rolling down my eyes. Probably I may end up doing that now as well. But
Hmm.
yeah.
We've been wanting some controversy happening, so please.
No, I mean, and I think the generation that you and I come from, for me, it still continues to be, songs from Andhi and things like that. And yeah, so we are very emotional that way. Matlab, if there is somebody singing somewhere, some Mohammad Rafi song, some Lata Mangeshkar song, and we as a family, we just get onto the phone or the Zoom and we make the other person listen to it, and we all sit and cry at the same time.
Oh my God. I,
Yeah.
I have cried a lot about, but those people sing really bad. So that is the time I cry.
Yeah, and for me, these are the moments where I also feel if and when my parents are not there anymore, it's these moments and the songs that will keep me always
Hmm.
connected with them. I was just thinking about it this morning or yesterday where I was getting ready, and I was thinking, God forbid something has to happen, and if I'm not able to see them sooner, there are so many things that will probably be there that I will cherish as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, I know it's a bit of off topic, but yeah.
No, in fact, it's quite interesting because, okay, if we were to connect it back to the topic because you mentioned the topic, I had a question in relation. But these are coping mechanisms a lot of people have, different kind
Yeah,
of coping mechanisms. At some point, off late, my daughter has been helping with this kind of background and
I see that there's something new every week. I quite like this one.
yeah,
Very nice. Yeah,
she keeps doing stuff and she does our YouTube DPs are these days done by her most of the time. Uh,
nice.
we play some games on and off. There's a lot more bonding. Sometimes she surprises me with questions which are actually questions that I wish all children would ask. She would come and the other day she asked me, how did we all become human beings? Like from when there were no human beings to human.
No, yeah, transition to who we are today.
I was like, yeah, okay. So then we discussed Darwin's theory and some stuff like that. Then there was also that question about we've discussed some part of Allahu, Nusrat Fateh's Allahu, where he talks about the Big Bang theory. Then we were talking about that.
Right.
There are different things that one has done, which one has never done before. Like I do not imagine myself sitting with a kid of her age and sitting and discussing such meaty issues most of the time, not because of anything else, but because the topic did not otherwise arise. But
Sure.
things like those are happening, or some like you mentioned songs. Uh, I want to actually tighten the screws on this one a bit more.
Go
Uh,
on.
uh, Gratitude is one thing, and obviously it is one of the most important aspects of our survival at this point of time. But if one were to be very cruel and everything else were taken away, say, I'll now put a hypothetical question. Uh, if today you mentioned that you've not received any new assignments in last 7 8 months on your on the business front,
Yeah.
other issues that you faced, you're worried about your parents. So if I were to tighten the screw, say everything that can go wrong is going wrong. So you really know that your worst fears about your parents are going to come true. Your job is not your money front. You're going to suffer a little. There are other compromises that are required on mental and physical level. If all of that stays, because see, honestly, while it may seem that I'm like a doomsday prediction guy, but what is happening today is quite close to what we never imagined something like this to be happening, but it is happening
Yeah.
around the world, and uh, people are reacting differently. People that you've known for years are unable to cope up with it. The topics that are being discussed are mortality and stuff like that. So a lot of things are coming up which were not planned earlier. So I want to push it a little further. Say if all the things that we are fearful of, they all come true. My first question to you is, would you survive it? First question. There's a series of questions on that, but the first one is, would you survive all of that?
You want me to answer as a yes or no?
Yes.
The answer would be a yes.
Yeah. So now from there on, because you said you would survive,
Yeah.
how would you find meaning in that survival? Beside the fact, I'm not even getting into survival is our basic instinct. We all want to. So we'll move a step further. My question is, what would give meaning to that survival for you? How would you find meaning in it?
Hope.
Hope for what?
Hope for things to change. Um, Look, I'm saying this from a place of, uh, I mean, okay, 5 years back, yeah, if somebody had told me this is the life I would be leading today, I would have probably laughed off.
Okay.
So I was going through bereavement. I had a near death experience with the surgery. My business had completely crashed.
Okay.
All my personal relationships, so called personal relationships, were dwindling one by one. And it was a time where I was struggling pretty much on every front, I would say, because I'm somebody who's always identified myself as this person who runs this business, manages things and stuff like that. So what I did for a living was very important and continues to be important for me. But I completely lost that after this bereavement happened. And I was pretty much ground zero. So every aspect of what you see today, Bunty, has been rebuilt in the last 4 5 years, I would say.
Okay.
So that is what gives me hope to carry on or go further. Because you talk about losing somebody really dear, I have been there. You talk about going down completely financially going bust, I have been there. Not having family or support, I have been there. I continue to be there because all people that really matter to me are back in Bombay. So, so I'm thinking, what more worse can happen? Again, it's a very, very relative thing, right? There could be somebody with a bigger issue, and which is fine. But for me, my last 5 years journey has been very defining. And that is pretty much what will define the way forward for me as well.
Okay. This is beautiful because I do not want to now stick to the hope bit because that is superficial as far as I am concerned. You said
Oh,
something.
no, 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 no.
I'll come to
I,
it. Wait.
oh,
Find superficial. See, there is hope is very open-ended. You've actually gone through something and you've done something. To me, that the reality of that is what I want to pursue a little more because
okay.
it may happen or may not happen the way you envisage, and your attitude may have a bearing on it or not. I
Yeah,
we can maybe that's a topic for another day. But your personal experience, I want to know when you were in that phase.
yeah.
Hope is a very open-ended word. People define it differently. I want to know what you exactly did to pick up the pieces and what made you work forward. Like work forward.
Um, I think what really worked for me at that point in time was that I was and I continue to be responsible for my daughter. So that was the number one thing that kept me going, I would say. And I don't think I really did anything much. I mean, the accepting, the acceptance of the whole thing and things coming, things crashing one by one was very difficult to accept initially. I struggled a lot, Bunty. I
Hmm.
mean, I have done things and tried out things to help me straddle that phase. Now, when I look back at it, depending upon what it is, I either smirk or I smile. I mean, with due